Well, good afternoon. It's already good afternoon, and I want to just take a moment and say we're coming on at a little bit of a different time, and I want to just let you all know that following this week, we'll be back at our regular time at 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Mountain, 12 Central, and 1 Eastern. So, gosh, for those of you that I don't know, my name's Joan Robison. I'm really excited to be here. One of the main goals that we have here with our Wednesday Mindset Minutes is to really close the gap on fear by flipping the switch. And there's so many different ways in our lives that we're able to do that just by being aware. So I want to introduce my friend and very special guest, top industry leader, Mindy Backsen. Gosh, I met Mindy at a seven-figure mastermind a couple years ago, and her energy and kindness and gosh, just who she was attracted me so much to her like a magnet. It was just amazing. I just could visualize still right now her smile. And I thought, that gal is so cool. She's so warm and so kind. And I still feel the same way. When I came to the current company that I'm with, Mindy and another gal, Jen, reached out to me and were so giving, so kind when they didn't have to be. And those are things that will always stay in my memory. So, Mindy, I'm so excited to have you here. We're going to be talking about healthy, thriving team cultures and, kind of giving some of our leaders and team members out there some ideas of what they can do. But before we dig into that, I would love for you to just share a little bit about your own story and your journey in network marketing.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. It really is an honor, and I love you, and I feel the same way. When we were down in Marco Island, and you just there, you're truly, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And your vibe, I was like, we need to be friends. Like, we need to connect. You are an amazing person and doing so much in this space, giving so much of your time and your energy and your efforts back to people here. So I just appreciate getting to be on here with you and sharing a little bit of my journey and this amazing journey that is entrepreneurship, right?
Right. That's
oh
for
my
sure.
goodness.
Yeah, all the ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah, ebbs, flows, ups, downs, falls on your faces, back up again.
Yeah.
It's a real deal. So yeah, just a little bit about me. I live in Bismarck, North Dakota. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a dog mom, and born and raised here. Started in the insurance and financial services industry. That was my career for 13 years, and came into network marketing in 2015, which does not seem that long ago, but yet it was. So, like most network marketers, or the traditional kind of world that we call network marketing, the traditional network marketing world, I should say, vendor shows, stocking inventory, recruiting to recruit. It was really recruitment based where I was at. And the struggle was real. I mean, it really was. There was not much an efficient way to do business. And so I was in that world for about 4 years before I flipped the switch.
Right.
I made the switch to the social retail space and really got an understanding of the power of social media marketing and what can be accomplished here. And so, yeah, over the past, it'll be 4 years now in November that I started in the social retail space, and have seen quite a large amount of success and have built a pretty incredible team. And I love that we're talking about team culture today and really, how to lead well. And so I'm just excited for this conversation.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because there's so many people that have, been in the industry for years at a time and have seen so many different things that have transpired from, gosh, just world changes, technology, our channel changes. And I have to say that being one of the people where you get into a habit and we create these habits and these practices depending on the company we're at. And by the way, that's part of culture as well. The way that we do business, if we're following our company's success plan, that's part of the culture of the company. And I just got to thinking to myself, I was working with a group of clients in a group coaching earlier this morning, and we were talking about that discomfort of embarking in something new. And I'm recalling coming to my fourth direct selling company and feeling like nothing I knew from before was applying, at least for the first 2 weeks to 3 weeks, because it was an all new thing.
Right.
And, gosh, we have to lean into that. One of the reasons why I'm even bringing that up is because I think that a lot of times with people with experience like yourself, you come from somewhere, and I want to make sure I say this, we do bring with us what we've learned, certainly, but some of those things we have to unlearn, right? I mean, some of them just didn't work. That's why we came to a different place. Or, there were other circumstances, but the one piece that comes back to mind to me is it doesn't matter if you're brand new just this week and you're feeling discomfort, or if you've been around like Mindy and I for a while. I mean, there's all levels of being uncomfortable when you're growing. And I think that's what we're seeing happening so much right now.
Yeah.
Within teams, within companies, within our channel, and just within the world. So I'm really excited to talk also about team culture. And I think I wanted to just start by saying, for like a real rundown, certainly go to my blog, joanrobinson.com/blog, and you can have a read at some of the different things that I pointed out. But where I want to start, and Mindy, I'd love to get your take on this too, is when I think about creating team culture, I believe that culture starts from the top down. So if I'm part of a company, I'm going to join a company because I believe in their culture.
Right.
I'm attracted to their culture. Their culture is, what resonates with me. And then as a leader within the field, I'm going to be establishing also some different things within my team culture. And I thought one of the tangible things that we could start with is it really starts with us. It starts with you. It starts with me. And so the question I have for all of you out there that are listening is really, who are you? And how do you show up as the example within your team, within that space?
That's good.
Right? Because the best investment always is going to be to go to work on me. And instead of thinking like, to me, that's ROI, the return on impact. Going to work on me is going to create impact with the people that I get to touch the more that I grow. So give me a little bit about your take on kind of being the example and modeling that from the top down. What do you think?
I love that. And I think that just kind of back to your point about, when we started in the network marketing space, what we've learned was truly, I mean, this is maybe, was going to relate to some of you today, but what I learned was like, hound your friends and family, like pester people, spammy messages, that whole thing. It was very what do you want to say? It was a kind of running your business from a place of a selfish place, I guess. Not really realizing it until I knew better. And of course, when you know better, you do better, but you're exactly right. I mean, all of what you said is just spot on, Joan. And I just think that, this is a real big discovery of who you are. I mean, it is fun to get into a company, and so many people start out and they're just like, I need just to make some money. You know what I mean?
Right.
And slinging product and stuff. And that might work for you for a little while. But if you really want to grow your business, you have got to grow yourself. Because the same level, I mean, when I started here it'll actually be 4 years on November 2nd. So it's just coming up on my 4-year. When I started here 4 years ago, I was not the person that I am today. Not to mention, I was not the person that could handle a team that does over 6 figures in sales a month. I
Right.
was not that person. And you know this all too well. I know I'm, not telling you something you don't know, because you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm just sharing with you guys. Oh, I'm so glad to see you guys here. What's up, friends?
Look at me. Wait, I didn't even say anything. Like, hey, out there.
Oh, hey, friends. Okay. Yeah, it's so good to see you guys here. But anyway, the level that it's going to take for you to build your team, and speaking of culture, and we'll get into that a little deeper too. It will not take the same you that you are today.
Right.
You will not be in the same place. It is so unrealistic for you to think like, well, okay, I just started in this industry 3.5 weeks ago. I should have a pretty substantial team by now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm all one for like, let's grow, let's dream big, let's do big things, but it
Yeah.
will require the work of you tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, Joan, in my experience, when I started in this social retail space, I actually quit my full-time job. I put all the cards on me. I was so excited and so ready. Actually, I was in a place, it was actually kind of a rough place for a little bit there, in the work environment that I was in, that I was like, if I'm going to grow, I have to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And made the commitment, made the decision, and here we grow. So it's going to be challenging. It's going to be hard. And I think the quicker you embrace that and go, you know what, it's going to be uphill. Success. What does Justin Prince say? Success is all uphill all the time.
Yep. Yep.
And I think as soon as you embrace that, the better. the better.
There's a couple little things that I say to myself that help me, kind of self-coaching things. So I'll say, like, this isn't happening to you, it's happening for you.
Mm-hmm.
Every circumstance that we're in as leaders. And by the way, for those of you out there that are listening in or even watching the replay, if you agree with this, you can just give me a little heart in the comments. But every single person, if you've got one person on your team, or you're going to be talking to somebody, you're leading. Do you agree with that? You're leading someone. Someone is following in your footsteps. And I mean, we could overthink it and make it out to be all this, whatever. But the truth is, people, if you arrive at a company, because this is what happens. Most people think, well, okay, maybe I'm leading. Maybe I am setting the tone, setting the culture, what's the word I'm looking for? I almost said setting a standard, but your culture, let's say, you are leading, and most people go, well, I need to know more before I can do this. And this is what I want to say. No, you don't. You don't need to know more. You need to do more. And most people go into this space of they're already in a lack-based place because they think they don't know enough. How could I lead someone? Here's what I want to say. And this is kind of a little off topic of culture, but hear me on this. Really important. All the companies out there provide you a kit and a success plan. If you were to pick up any box at any company and you never talk to anybody again, if you did the steps that were in the kit, you could be successful. Now, here's my point. If you've set yourself up for success, or your upline set you up for success, but you have had a measure of success, that's a first sale. You've overcome the fear of maybe making a post. I mean, we're talking the very basics. You can help anybody in this business. Why? Because you can read. You can actually just read. You don't have to know it all, right?
Yeah.
I think so many people miss the opportunity, Mindy, to serve. And they don't grow that maybe the team they want because they're all in their head about, I've got to know more. What if I'm found out? I mean, I don't know it all. I'm still learning every single day. And I think sometimes it's sort of an eye-opener for people when they look and they think, well, she's been doing this a while. She doesn't ever have fears. She doesn't ever, feel the growth. Oh, if I just had her deal, but we all have,
right? Right. And I think what that comes down to, and somebody needs to hear this today, what that comes down to is a lack of decision.
Yeah.
Because, and I forget, I remember hearing somebody was speaking on this. I was listening to a podcast where someone talk about, when you separate the word, what de-incision means, essentially means to cut off. And too often people in our industry are like, well, yeah, I kind of do like sort of this side hustle thing. And I kind of, I'm like, no, I quit my job to build a business full time. Like, that's what I did. I made a big decision and I cut off anything else that was going to keep me from doing what I wanted to do. And tell me this, friends, think about this for a minute, actually. Let's say that, okay, like Joan just said, she's a top leader. She's a top industry income earner in our entire profession, and she does not know all the things. But what is she?
Not even close.
She's confident. And so it comes down to, or it goes back to, and to your point about, your team culture and really finding out who you are, it all comes back to you and working on you. So that's the good news.
Right.
Right. That's the good news. It's really you versus you. Right.
It is.
Right. But, my train of thought just totally left my brain. Oh my word. You get the point. You get the point. Oh, committed, about being committed, making a decision. And it all comes down to really you. And so even though somebody might ask me questions, ingredients and whatever else about whatever, like I'm not an ingredient nerd. I love health and I love wellness. I don't know all the things about all that, but I can confidently tell you, I'm excited to connect you with the information. I'll figure it out. And,
Right.
that all goes back to a lot of personal development, a lot of personal growth, which, because I've done the work that I've done and you've done the work that you've done, and tens of thousands of dollars we've spent, truly, I mean, like, Lordy only knows, like, if we added up the money, on building us, that's what has allowed us, I believe, Joan, to really build our teams the way that we have and lead the way that we do, because it all rises and falls on leadership, right?
It does. You brought up a point too, is you said, I made the decision, right? And I think a lot of people, because fear sets in, will find ourselves in these places of one foot in and one foot out. And then they wonder why their business isn't giving them what they want.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy for me just to say, well, treat your business like a business and it'll bring you a business income type thing. But here's the thing I want you to think deeper today. Mindy said, I made a decision. She made a decision to go all in. Notice she didn't say, I didn't have one fear in the world. In fact, she probably had a lot of fear and had to really get down with her own faith and go, I'm going to just trust that this is the right decision for me. And those are the kinds of things that establish team culture. Because if you're on Mindy's team or you're looking to join her team, I'd be like, I want to work with that kind of gal.
Yeah.
I don't want to work with somebody that's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Now, there's a difference between 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and somebody maybe driving a business like you are driving, versus I have both feet in and I've made a commitment to do blank a week or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The commitment can be different.
Right.
But what Mindy said was the decision, and the decision brings the commitment. So whatever that decision is for any of you out there, or for those people that you're attracting and beginning to support and help in the journey, whatever they want, my question would be to them, how committed are you to what you want? That's what I want to know.
That's a great question.
I don't have time to work with people that are half in, half out.
No.
Why? Because they aren't truly committed. They're not in. And I'm just one person. And so is Mindy. And so are many of you. This might help you establish a little more around that team culture, because if you're going to work on you all the time and you're talking about the highs and lows, which, by the way, is really important. If everybody sees Mindy or me or some of you out there as just these perfect little things, that doesn't work either, because I'd be looking and going, yeah, my life doesn't look anything like that.
Yeah.
And the truth is, behind all the makeup and the work and whatever the hell you do, The
I love
truth
you.
is we all have moments of growth and
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable,
Hmm.
right? It
Yeah.
just is.
They say embrace the suck, and it's that,
Yeah.
I know that's kind of like it's kind of a weird thing to say, but again, honestly, coming from my journey as well, I
Yeah.
have overcome so much. I mean, that's for a whole nother thing. Maybe
We
we need
should
to talk
do an
about
overcomer
overcoming our shit,
and
because
overcome to become more, right? We should
yeah,
do
right. It's true. It really is the truth. And so yeah, it's embrace it, and face it head on, because you know that it's coming. You know that it's coming. So embrace it and face it head on. I want to just say too, real quick,
yeah.
one thing, here's a huge tip for those of you that are building in this space. Speaking of team culture, and I cannot encourage this enough. And what I've seen over our profession actually makes me really sick, because too often, even leaders within the same company have been more competitive than collaborative.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the lack of collaboration in networks,
Yeah.
it will destroy you.
I agree.
It will destroy you. It's awful what I see throughout our profession now, where we're at. I mean, Joan and I, we're cross-lined to each other. We talk about strategy and we work together with all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I have my power partner, Jen Cooper. I mean, like, we're cross-lined to each other. We run our teams together. It has been the most powerful thing in my business to work with someone else, cross collaboration. She doesn't make money off me. I don't make money off her, but yet we help our teams and we grow together. That, Joan, I'm telling you, and I know you've seen it too, right?
Yeah.
How different that is here.
Well,
Anyway.
you know what? I am so glad you said that, because this needs to be said. See, guys, we don't plan these kind of calls. I mean, I got a couple notes. Mindy
Yeah.
says something and I write something down to remind myself, but these aren't planned. And what Mindy said was so valuable. She said that collaboration has boosted and exploded her business, right? Like, there are days, I'm sure, I'm speaking for her, but let me just say this. There are days, I'm sure, when her cross-line person, Jen, lifts her up and it helps her take the next step. They're not on each other's teams. Here's what I want to add to that.
Mm-hmm.
There is a very, the nature of somebody's heart. I just would say this: are you a giver or are you a taker?
Mm-hmm.
And hey, I'm sure that sometimes we have to check ourselves. I've recalled in the past, not my last trip, but there's been times over the years where I needed a recruit, one more recruit. Now notice the way I said that. I needed it. And I was willing to do whatever I was going to do to get it. But that comes from a place of lack. I don't have it. I need it. And then I start to feel icky. Ugh, ugh. That's because I'm more of a taker in that zone. Okay. And I'll just say that. I don't like to be that way. So I found other ways to serve and keep serving and giving and giving and giving.
Yeah.
It feels so much better to be that giver. It doesn't feel good to be a taker. So same thing with my materials. If anybody calls me and says, hey, could I have an outline for blank? Absolutely. I don't think I've ever said no. There's enough people in the world to help.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the lack of people joining me. No, there's enough people. And I believe the right people will join me in whatever I do. Right. I have another point that I think is really important to team culture. You and I just got off a big vision leader type call that talked a little bit about, increasing communication. And I have been kind of on this little bandwagon around that for quite a while, because everybody loves to text. And I do too.
Yeah.
But texting is not a way to connect.
Yeah.
A way to communicate, but it's not a way to connect. And I'm going to just say this, you can write me an email, you can text me a message. It's all good with me. But the people that know how to truly connect from the heart, meaning take care of people. And I'm not talking about go save the world. I'm talking about your team.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people that you work immediately with, not the ones that are half in, half out. You don't have to work with those people the same way. Talking about the people that are working a business that are your directs to you. Okay. You've got to be connecting. And especially now, we're moving into these ages where technology's taking over a lot of the connecting stuff, or it's trying to. And I even saw an ad that said, I'm not a robot and I can do blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? I say BS to that. No, nothing's going to change the human heart and creating relationships.
Right.
The people that will thrive going through what we're doing now are the people that set a culture of connection.
Mm-hmm.
And connection doesn't need to be hours. It's not an hour-long phone call. It can just be like, hey, Mindy, it's Joan. How's it going today?
Yeah.
What if you were to do that with 3 people a day on your team?
That's so good.
Think it'd change a little bit of the culture? Do you think what Mindy mentioned before about sharing and giving and being a collaborative leader is going to change your culture?
Mm-hmm.
Because we attract the same energy that we put out.
So, and you know what, to that point too, Joan, it's like, not everybody on my team, because, I've got, downline to down to down to down, way, way down in there. Not everybody is my style. Some people might need to hear, like, I need to get hit hard. I need to get punched in the face for me to, you know what I mean? And we have people within our organization that are face punchers. Like they will get you good. Right.
Sure.
There's some people that as soon as like those strong words are spoken, like they crumble. And I don't know if they're urchins or whales or dolphins or turtles or whatever that is, you know what I mean? Like blah, 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 whatever color. But the point is when you do allow that culture of collaboration, your people, I mean, I'll have people learn from you. You might have people learn from me. And I could say the same thing as you, but it hits differently. You know what I'm saying? So when you try to, with a lack mindset as a leader, keep your people to yourself, right? You are literally doing them the biggest disservice ever.
Agreed.
Trying to keep them to yourself. So yeah, I wanted just to quick add that point too. I just thought of that. That was a good one.
No, I think it's really good. And I even want to say a little something on that, because I have worked with people having, this being my 4th company in the field. I've worked with a lot of people that have been at 2 and 3 and 4 other companies. And I hear this on occasion. Hey, we weren't allowed to contact our downline or their blah, blah, blah. I said, what? To me, that is insane, because first off, who's making those rules and what's behind it? So let's talk a little bit just for a minute about some unhealth. And this would be something I would say, this is unhealthy. You can communicate and connect to anybody you want. There's no rules within a company's guidelines that says you can't reach out to anybody anywhere. Right. So that is just some not so healthy rule. Right. But here's the thing, like Mindy said, my style is going to be different from hundreds of other people's style. If I can be kind and if I can be secure with who I am, then it all starts falling together. Yeah. And the truth is that if I have in my team a culture of collaboration or a culture of, let's just say, team, right? Because if I'm only saying, well, we can only talk to these people, or this kind of deal, I'm segregating, I'm breaking up a team. Yeah. And that's not how a thriving, healthy culture is built. That's how a toxic culture is built. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things to watch out for? I would say that would be a really big one. Leaders that are controlling every move instead of allowing people freedom to shine. Mm-hmm. People that it's got to be only, let's just say, the Joan show or the, Susie show or whatever. No. And by the way, if you're Susie, I'm not talking about anyone specific, so don't give me any. But, these are things that stifle growth. Right. And I don't know about you, Mindy, but I'm pretty safe to say that I'm here to help people build. I'm here to help people overcome so they can become more. And sometimes it's just a little bit better each day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what about you? What else? What else do you think is a red flag or something to watch for when it
Well,
comes?
I mean, nobody likes to be micromanaged. I mean, that's why we all quit our jobs, right? Like we had bosses that were like, "What time did you come in today?" And then what time did you take your break? And then you know what I mean? Nobody likes that. So
Right?
micromanaging will also suffocate a team, and they
Yep.
will not want to. They won't want to be a part of that. They will not want to be a part of that. So micromanaging people will crush it, crush a team. Um, I'm one for boy, celebrating. Here's the thing. Here's a quick tip. Celebrating the small wins, celebrating the things that you want repeated. So there's a positive. I've got a positive and a negative here that I'll kind of cover with you quickly, but just celebrating those small things. When somebody on our team, gets their first customer, that's a big deal. We announce it, we celebrate it together. When somebody gets their first $20 off codes claimed, we celebrate it. They bring on their first new social marketer, the biggest deal
Some
ever.
really good ideas.
Pardon? Oh yeah. Start taking notes, Joan. Just kidding. No. Anyways, but we celebrate. Listen, celebrate as a leader. Celebrate what you want repeated.
That, yeah.
Celebrate what you want repeated, but also know, you've got to lose the expectations that, like, I had somebody come into our team one time. She was very influential. Her social media was like, she post something and have like 600 comments. I mean, it's crazy. She got in, she did a couple things, and then she just dropped. Like, you have to also have zero expectations. The only thing that you can expect of anyone is of yourself. That is it. I encourage my team. I try to celebrate my team. I cut out the drama and the BS. So that's on the flip side of things. I don't allow that. When I see that, I cut that off. Like, I will shut it down faster than, like, I'm like, oh wait, you just finished typing? I'm in your inbox. Like, listen. And I don't come at it from like a snarky standpoint. I say, hey, listen, can you consider, like, let me just talk about a team chat for a minute. Can you consider what you put in the team chat for just a minute and tell me, is that providing any value to anyone? You have to remember, we have new people in here. We have people, like, the drama and the whatever, come to me with that. Leave that out. Leave that out of the chat. Nobody needs to, you know what I mean? I cut that out. And I'll tell you something, Joan, what's so funny. I used to be such a people pleaser back in the day. My personal development and growth has really strengthened my ability to have those kind of hard, weird conversations that you don't really want to have, but are absolutely necessary to preserve what you've created, to preserve that team culture of, we freaking love everybody here. Like, everyone is welcome at the table. I don't care if you put 50 points up on the board, or you're not doing anything and you're just here for the party, or you're doing 50,000 in volume a month. I'm going to celebrate you. I'm going to love on you. I'm going to encourage you. Just don't be negative.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I'm going to make a comment. So drama, the crap that goes on.
Yeah.
This is just a question that you can ask yourself. Are you a contributor to the drama? Meaning, I've met some leaders that I can't even believe what's gone on, and they call themselves a leader. I mean, hey, you got to ask yourself, are you a pot stirrer? Are you somebody that something happens on your team and you call everybody, or you write it in the chat, or, I mean, hey, it happens. It's hard to believe, but it happens. Yeah. And we're having a little bit of a tough conversation right now, just even saying it. It doesn't feel good, but guess what? It happens. And I would just say to somebody, get honest also with yourself, because we all have opportunities to improve our team culture. Everybody does.
Yep.
So are you part of the drama? Are you part of the BS? Are you part of extinguishing things when it happens? Because if you can extinguish that kind of thing when it happens, it's going to be less likely to happen again. You don't keep giving warnings and leaving it in chats. No, you delete it. You talk to the person one-on-one, never in front of a group.
Right.
And you lay the boundaries. And I have boundaries in my stuff. I mean, I do have an expectation that we're going to be kind to everybody. in that zone. Now, I want to say one more thing that I think is really, really important about team culture. You cannot be led by a fear-based leader and think that you're going to be operating in a place of strength. So that is a really, it's kind of a bold statement for me to make, but I'm making it because we all have fears. Okay. I have fears. You guys all have fears. Mindy, I'm sure you got some fears. But are you the economy? Oh, geez. I've been doing this a while, couple 20 some odd years. I've gone through ups and downs of a lot of economies and a lot of crap in the world. And you know what? I have continued in my businesses to grow. And I'll tell you why. Because I didn't feed into the fear. I recognized it. I might have even felt it. But I said, no way, no how. I'm not going there. No freaking way. I'm going to go up. I'm not staying down in that low bottom fish energy. No. It isn't going to be for me. Look at, I'm getting the chill. So that is where I really kind of, I know where I could talk with you for hours on end, but I really kind of want to end there. And I want to get your take on that too, because people stay where they're comfortable. And sometimes people's comfort zones are fear-based comfort zones, but they don't have to stay there. So I am really putting it out there to those of you right now. Take a moment and evaluate. Where are you as far as, are you leading with the fear-based nature? Are you getting all freaked out and telling everybody they got to hold on to everything? And, we're going in for a ride. It's going to be really tough. I mean, or are you saying like, hey, there are some stuff. There is things happening. I'm not going to ignore what I see, but I'm going to put on a different lens and I'm going to look at it as a time to dig in and serve. What would you say on that?
Well, as I'll tell you what, so much of what you were saying, it was just so much resonating with my heart. And I'll just tell you that as a believer, I just know that scripture says without vision, people perish. And having that kind of a lack mindset and having that fear-based mindset, that will destroy you. It will hold you back. It will hold your people back. And so one thing that I think I've really focused on is casting a big dream and painting a real big vision. And I paint it just as my truth. Like, I just know, and I often tell my people, and this is for those of you too that are listening, like, if it took you 5 years to make 5 figures a month, would that be worth it to you? I don't just go, oh gosh, I wonder what's going to happen. It's a low month this month. We should all be real scared. No. My vision is so much bigger and greater than that, that it's literally unstoppable. The second thing I'll say to that is, for those of you that are believers, 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God did not give you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And that is a piece of scripture. Fear comes at me all the time. I quit my full-time job to build this business full-time. My husband, I think he thought I was having a small midlife crisis, which maybe I was. But like, I walked into that. I stepped into that scripture of, God did not give me a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And I just moved through that fear, and it comes and I crush it, and it comes and I crush it, and it still comes 4 years later, running a successful team, feeling really freaking good about what we're doing. But there's that little voice that's like, but Mindy. And I'm like, You have to make a conscious decision. And for those of you that, I'm just telling you, and this might not be for everybody, but I have to share it with those of you that do believe, because that scripture has saved my business. It saved my life. Like, fear, the spirit of fear is a real thing. It really is. You know, and you're an energy person. I mean, you know how this works. Somebody walks into the room and the energy changes, right? The spirit of fear is legit. So if those of you that are like, I am just fearful of this and I'm fearful of that, stop speaking that over your life. Watch what you're saying to yourself, because you are listening, and crush it with some scripture. And my sisters, you'll be good to go. I'm telling you.
Yeah. No, I love that you shared that, because I think the main thing people need to really understand is that there's all kinds of things that you can give your attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And where your attention goes, your energy flows. And so does your body and everything else, right? It goes there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got something to fear, I'm a big fan. This is actually in my book. Oh, flip this way.
Oh, there you are, girl.
In the book, I always say, let's send the fear back to where it came from. You know,
Ooh.
send the fear back to where it came from and thank it. Thank it for what it's teaching you. It's teaching you something. And the other thing I'll say too is, Mindy, I'm sending you my Ignite the Light cards.
Oh, thanks, friend.
I just got my the cards look like this, guys.
Yes.
There's two 31 day like decks in here, but I got the box finally.
It's beautiful. I love it. It's gorgeous.
So anyway,
so
you can get these also at joanrobson.com/shop. So these are super cool. I'm sending you these, but guess
Are you gonna flip a card?
I am.
Yeah, let's do it.
Card in your box real quick.
Awesome.
So I want you just to tell me when to stop. And
okay.
here's what I'm here. Oh, okay.
Stop.
Wow.
I don't want to wait. Let's do it. Let's see what it says.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Interestingly enough, ouch. I just got a little paper cut. Okay. Look at this. I take good care of me. So what a great message. I'll read it real quick. Today I will choose healthy habits that refuel me. Does fear, guys, refuel you? No. So I'll eat healthy foods that replenish my body. I'll exercise to de-stress and get my endorphins flowing. I'll practice my spiritual connection. Today I will pause and pray, God, help me refuel my body spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Thank you. Flip the switch from self-sabotage to feeling better each day. This is the one thing, or no, what is the one thing I could do to take better care of me today?
That's a whole nother live we need to do. We need to talk about self-sabotage because that's a real thing.
I know, right?
So many good things, Joan. So many good things.
Lots of good things. Lots of good things happening. I want to thank you so much, Mindy, for being part of this. And to all of you that want a little bit more info and ideas on a thriving, healthy team culture, like I said, you can go to my blog. And thanks again, Mindy. So good to have you.
It's my pleasure. I just appreciate you and all the work that you do and just all the giving. You are an incredible example of just such a great leader. Joan, I just love you. I love you.
Thank you. All right, guys, have a great day. Okay,
bye, friends.
Okay, bye-bye.